Downey from Charlottesville, Virginia on a cold, cold day, but that could not stop Loyola's hot attack as they took down the Cavaliers 11-4 behind 6 different goal scorers, led by Tyler Albrecht, who had 3. The Greyhounds assisted 7 of their 11 goals, moved the ball well, passed well, communicated well all day. The goalie, Grant Lamone, a sophomore for Loyola, had a fantastic day in cage with 14 saves, really set the tone early. Didn't let Virginia see any really good shots. Virginia started 0 for 25. Shooting-wise, only scored 4 goals. They did get one from newcomer and top recruit Ryan Conrad. This did mark the return of Tanner Scales, All-American defenseman for Virginia, who played very well, and Matt Barrett in goal, who had 9 saves, but just wasn't enough to trump the all-experienced attack of Loyola, who had a fantastic day today.
Welcome back to the IL studio here for the Epic Game Day video. Frigid weather wreaked havoc on this weekend's schedule, but that made all eyes on Hampton University and their historic debut for Division I lacrosse. They played Division II school Roberts Wesleyan today. They lost 20-3. But, a historic day. Quint Kesnick and Anish Shroff from ESPN were there for SportsCenter all morning. All eyes on lacrosse, all eyes on Hampton today. But plenty of offensive breakouts this weekend. A lot of double-digit scoring games, lots of big offensive numbers. Jeff, what stood out to you?
A couple games stood out to me. Watched a lot of the Syracuse-Siena matchup. Syracuse wins 18-5. You got a good look at what Syracuse is doing on offense this year with Dylan Donahue. Had 5 goals, 4 assists. They're building a lot around him, and he's kind of filling in as sort of the catalyst of a lot of their other players. But you see Jordan Evans out there. You see Paroli from Brown came in and had a couple goals. Really like what they're doing with Mariano, the UMass transfer, who was running midfield. Seemed to be a really good playmaker out there. Patrick McEwen, one of our writers, did a really nice thorough breakdown on InsideLacrosse.com. I encourage everybody to go out there and read that, get a little bit more sense of what's going on with Syracuse and their offense this year.
Another offensive standout today was Ohio State. Last week in this space, I called them out saying their offense was suspect after narrowly beating Furman. Today they answered that call, a 16-5 win they had today against Detroit. J2 Blue Ball, 4 goals, 2 assists, 11 different scorers for Ohio State. That's huge, having that much depth of scoring when they lost some of their star players. But over in the Big Ten, there was 2 other teams that really had breakout offensive days, and that was Rutgers and Penn State. Rutgers with a 19-11 win over St. John's. Penn State with a 17-12 win over Hobart. Rutgers had a big day from Scott Beda. 5 goals, 4 assists. That's 9 points for him there. That's a huge day in the Big Ten. And then Grant Ament, another big day. He had a hat trick, one of 3 players who had hat tricks for that Penn State team. Another Big Ten performance of note. Michigan earned arguably their biggest win in the program's young history, holding off Colgate at home 9-8 in Oysterbond Fieldhouse indoors. The Wolverines got off to a hot start, building leads of 4-1 and 7-4 after dominating faceoffs 12-7. After moving from midfield, attackman Kyle Jackson used those extra touches to lead all scorers with 4 goals. Mikey Schlosser led from charge from midfield, posting 2 scores. Colgate, which was receiving votes in both polls, rallied late to make the game interesting, but Michigan's D held on. Goalie Gerard Logan's 15 saves sealed the win for Michigan, and one of the biggest wins the program has ever seen. Another team that's known for its defense that had a big offensive day was Towson. Towson put up 11 goals. Jeff, what did you see from them?
A couple things that you like. In a write-up for the CAA in the preseason, I mentioned that the thing that Towson needs this year is to improve their offense. I think they finished in the bottom 4th of all Division I last year. You see some seeds of that against their win versus Mercer this weekend. Joe Sider, 3 goals, 1 assist. He's someone who's going to be a sharp shooter for them. But you really like what Spencer Park is doing from X-Attack. He's someone who we always were really highly of as a young recruit. Kind of found his way to Towson over his career and is really quarterbacking that offense. And then a key player, Ryan Drenner, is someone who they could float between attack and midfield. I know they started him in attack in this game. Those 3 guys getting the ball to other guys, players like your Canadian cousin, Kinnear, who came in this year as a transfer from Ohio State. These are guys who, if they continue to mold together, they're going to face a lot of tough defenses in the CAA, but I like where they are right now.
Moving on, a few other big offensive performances. Will Mazzoni from Providence, you mentioned a transfer in that game. Will Mazzoni's a transfer from Army, and he just put up a great game for Providence, 6-2 and a 12-8 win over Holy Cross. And Patrick McMenamin, 6 goals, 15-8. He's a Wagner player, a junior there. They beat Manhattan. We're going to take you over to Durham, where Peter Katrumpis was tracking the Blue Devils all weekend in their 2 games.
Hi, this is Peter Katrumpis reporting for Inside Lacrosse here at Koskinen Stadium on the Duke University campus. Just finishing off the opening weekend for the Blue Devils that saw them finish with a 17-6 win over High Point on Friday and a 13-11 win here today against Lehigh. 2 similar yet different games. Duke showed a top-to-bottom finish on Friday with lots of offensive output and good defensive play and communication. You thought that would continue for an entire 60 minutes here today as they led 9-3 over Lehigh. However, they hit some stumbling blocks and Lehigh changed up things and put together some scoring patterns that resulted in goals. The Mountain Hawks outshot the Blue Devils and also challenged them a lot more on the ground balls during the second half. That was the difference as part of this learning weekend that John Danowski is trying to get his team to understand that they have a lot of work to do, particularly as they prepare for defending NCAA champion Denver next week. For Inside Lacrosse, this is Peter Katrumpis.
That's it for the Epoch ILGameday show. Make sure to check the Epoch scoreboard all weekend for full results, full box scores, and more. And also gear up for this season with the Epoch Gen 6 Dragonfly Shaft, the Hawk sequel, and Otter Mesh.